Hey, thanks for tuning in again. So today's topic is how to pace your 5K run. So the 5K, which I usually use for my athletes as a test run, or if you want to run a PB right now in this COVID time, some people try to run a personal best over the 5K. Regardless of what you're doing, I want to give you a strategy on how to best pace your 5K. So I have prepared something for that, which is a high-tech graph, and yeah, you can bear with me, and I will explain and talk you through what I mean the best, from my opinion, the best 5K pacing is. So let's get started. Here on this high-tech graph, I will put the pace on the y-axis, which is a 4-minute pace, and on the x-axis we have the kilometers. So the 4-minute pace, this will equate to exactly 20 minutes. So in order to get some reference points, let's put in 19 minutes and maybe 22 minutes. So your best strategy would then of course be to completely even pace this run, right? So for the 5K, and actually all of this applies to almost every type of distance running, except maybe for under 800 meters or the mile, maybe you might pace a little bit differently, but everything over a mile, I would say this is what you want to do. So this is the ideal world. So if you would run this evenly distributed, this would be most likely, this would be best. And so there are different strategies right now, and the one strategy is what I call like hanging on for dear life strategy. So, and if you don't know what you're doing, if you're fairly inexperienced, you start off like way too high and then fade towards the end and hang on for dear life, and maybe you try to speed up at the end, but usually you don't maintain this. So this does not give you a 22-minute. This gives you something around here in between, because you still have some pace, something you can build up some buffer, but this very fastly deteriorates over time, right? In a race situation, these people jump ahead right here, so they are usually they might run in the front pack here, where they do not belong, or even get a little bit of an advantage. Then they're trying to get overtaken around here, and then they basically fade from here on towards the end. So this is not a very good strategy. Plus, I will tell you why in a minute. If you ramp up very, very hard, or your body does not have the time to actually ramp up the according systems. So a much better strategy would then be to, for example, run what I call like what everyone calls like a negative split. So you start off a little bit conservatively around here, the first K, then you get up to the speed you want to go, which is 4K, and maintain it as long as possible, and then ramp it up at the end, right? Again, this does not give you a 19 something up here, because you get a little bit you lag a little bit behind here, okay? But you then make this up here, which is much better strategy, because in the first, let's say the first mile or so, you give your body all the time to actually ramp up your systems. Then you maintain and be very, very strong in this corridor here. So this is basically where your time is made, and then try to kick at the end. So when you kick at the end, you actually then get this a little bit more advantage than you lost here in the beginning. So this is what I would advise to do, right? So I would advise you to try to do a negative split, right? So if you do this, you're most likely to get the best result. Yes, of course. So you might say, I don't know where I am right now, and therefore it's even more important to try to start off conservatively. And yes, you might have, of course, most likely you will get what I will show you right now. You will start most likely. Let's do it again. This is all high tech. So you will most likely run a lot slower than you can, right? then you will notice, okay, I will ramp up to somewhere where I don't know, and in the end you will have a huge increase. This is what you will end up if you will, for example, do it the first time, right? Which only means that that there's a lot more potential, so you can narrow this. So you can narrow next time, you can do it like this. And of course, because you're running much faster around here, you won't be able to kick as much at the end. Therefore, this gap will not be as big. But you can see that you get closer and closer to this ideal, more or less ideal distribution. So yes, of course, the even pacing is not the end all be all. Usually you run a little bit slower at the beginning and then kick in the end. If you've been doing this for a long time, you can do it bang on, and then it's only a matter of how your form is, or your shape, or your motivation, your headspace, and everything is today. But I hope you got the general senses, then the general idea, the general overview, and also what not to do. Tell me how your experience is, what you got, what you did in the past, and if you applied the strategy, how it worked out for you. Did it work or didn't it work? You can also subscribe to the channel. You can give it a like, of course, if there was anything useful. And of course, I'm not claiming to have all the knowledge and know that this is the best to do, but from experience for the 5K and towards on, this would be the best to do. So if you're starting off or just running, enjoy. Okay. Yeah, thanks for watching, and see you next time. Run on.